Hello everyone, welcome to JCF Weekly Chat. I'm Shenyuan Hu, the founder of Joint Commonwealth Fund or JCF. JCF is a crypto index fund to make basic income universal. All right, so welcome everyone to come to our weekly chat. So this week we'll be talking about, a lot of people, a lot of, friends here who might be living paycheck to paycheck on a monthly basis. So how can we, get out of this? All right. So, living paycheck to paycheck probably is an experience many people are faced, and might be something that's troublesome for people. But however, I'll be the first to admit, actually, I'm a person who's living, my cash often goes to zero at the end of the month. Okay, so, but I'm actually a happy paycheck to paycheck guy, although I don't really get a paycheck. So to see why, well, try to think about, if let's say you have like, 5,000 US dollar, okay, a month that comes to your account. You have a passive income of about 5,000 US dollar, and you spend it out at the end of the month. But then in the beginning of next month, you still would have another $5,000 into your account. So will you be, distressed or feeling bad? And if this, can continue forever? Certainly not, right? Because 5,000 US dollar can buy you a quite good quality life. So the issue really isn't about, draining all your cash at the end of the month. It's about, one, whether you will have distress about your finance, about money, about not having enough money, or about, not being able to pay all the bills or, all the spendings to cover. That's of concern, okay? Because regardless of whether you're getting 5,000 a month or 3,000 a month or 1,000 a month or even like 500 a month, it doesn't really matter how much you're getting if your spending or expected spending is a lot greater than this amount, right? That's the main reason for distress. So the issue really we want to focus is how to avoid this distress, okay, instead of, simply worrying about not having enough cash. All right, so a lot of people might think, is it because I'm earning too little due to a bad economy? Okay, and most certainly people will wonder, like, where do all my money go? Why aren't I able to, save something for future? All right, so one really easy way to keep track of this is simply to record all your spendings. Okay. Before this, let's talk about a basic concept and basic math. In order to get out of this distress, basically you have to do two things. One is to make sure that you will always have some monthly income to come in. Okay, and potentially this should not be affected by the economy or your employment status. So if this can come mostly from a passive income source, that would be the ideal. And the second part is you have to make sure that your spending always is less than the amount you're making. Okay, so that's the simple math. If you're earning more than you spend, then you wouldn't have a distress there. So how can you be sure that you're spending less than what you earn? A very simple way is to simply track it, okay, as experts would suggest. I can tell you an example about this. A friend of mine who started tracking, literally recording every penny spent on a monthly basis. If he spends some money, he just records it, okay, just records it. And at the end of the month, he realized that wow, he was spending like over 100 US dollar on coffee, and he lives in Taiwan. Okay, that's like 1/10 of his salary at the time. So that's not a good thing. Okay, and he wasn't even realizing that he was, just buying coffee out loud. So he changed, after realizing, after seeing this pattern, he changed his behavior, and that saved him money. Okay, so start tracking. That's really one useful thing. And the other thing is, if you want to avoid this, probably a good way is, okay, to start to change your environment. Because what happens is, you always, if you want to if you want to use your willpower to change something, and this is something I learned from Benjamin Hardy. He's the number one blogger on medium.com. I'm enrolling one of his online courses. So he basically talked about, if you want to achieve anything, any goal, the most ineffective way is to use your willpower. Okay, a lot of people have goals of, like changing jobs, earning more income, having lose weight, getting better health at the beginning of each year. But usually, these big goals, big dreams, big wishes start to fade away 2 weeks after, and by the beginning of February, it's gone and it's back to, business as usual, back to the old habits. So how can one actually change things for the better? Well, you don't rely on your willpower to try to make decisions, to try to make efforts to do so every time. What's more effective is actually to change your environment. Okay, so what does this mean in terms of your personal financing? What this means is, for example, that you like one really simple, neat way is to just allocate a certain amount of your money, like say 10%, okay, and automatically transfer that to a different account, okay, at the beginning of each month when you get your paycheck. And the reason is that, and that's money you cannot touch. If you do that automatically, you don't have to, set up an auto transfer for this. So you don't even have to think about this, and it already happens. This is called changing your environment. Okay. Another tip from another friend of mine is, he basically gets, all the money he expects to use the budget for this month into an envelope. So he withdraws that amount of cash and put it inside an envelope and start to spend money off that envelope. So he knows that, this is the amount of money I can spend, okay? And even if he use like credit card to buy something, he will remove a certain amount of cash, into a different envelope to pay for next month's credit card bill. So this way he always budget, okay? And this is really just a small way, you can change in your daily behavior to just make this work. If you make this, if you adopt a spending habit like my friend, this is an environment that you will not be able to, outspend, because you simply you can watch exactly what's happening to your financial status on a daily and very visible way. And a third tip is, this is something I learned from Darren Hardy. So if you say, okay, I don't have money to save away, 10% is too much. Well, Darren has an employee in his company that, a girl who was earning a certain amount of money, maybe like not that much, a few thousand US dollar a month. And she was living simply paycheck to paycheck. Well, Darren recommended her to save, and she was saying, no way she can save this amount. So what Darren suggests is, well, you start with 1%. Okay, so let's say her salary at that time was 3,000 US dollar. Okay, so Darren simply asked her to save $30. Okay, that's not a lot, right? That's just maybe a few coffees. That's not drunk. during that month. So that's like, like 6 cups of coffee. So what happens is she started saving 30 US dollar, basically 1% of her salary. All right, and the next month he asked her to find another 1% to save. Okay, so you see, so each month she only has to save 1% of her salary into, to keep away. And by the next, after 10 months, she's already, by slashing maybe a subscription here or doing something there, by the end of 10 months, she was already saving 10% of her salary. And that 10%, well, the best investment is actually educating yourself by investing in yourself. That's the best investment you can make in order to improve, anything regarding your finance, relationship, or else. Okay, so so that's about the basic tips. So one thing I like to and the other side of this, of course, is once you are able to control your spending, the other question is, will you be able to get money coming to your account? So for your spending on a regular and passive basis. So essentially, you don't have to worry about like whether you will lose your job or whether there's something that an emergency that might happen. If you can build up a large enough passive income base source, then it doesn't really matter if you're spending all your cash at the end of the month. You still have protection, right? So how can you build up a passive income? Well, that there are basically existing ways. One of them is through real estate investments. If you're getting rental money on a monthly basis, that's a form of passive income. If you invest in high dividend paying stocks, that's another, okay? But how can you choose which one to invest? That that requires time and effort to study to learn. So one really easy way to invest is through index funds. Okay, if you're interested, you can go look up and you can check out our other episodes. But essentially, index fund invests not just in a single entity, not just investing a single thing, but actually invests in the whole class of things. So this is also something also Warren Buffett recommends. Now, in terms of what kind of index fund to choose, well, there are typically stock-based index fund. It's been there 40, 50 years now. But if you believe in and are interested in the future of other forms like cryptocurrencies, blockchains, then it's probably worth a look at other forms of index fund. And JCF is a form of crypto index fund, which if you're interested, please come and visit our official website to learn more. And so that's, be happy to, to have you. And if you like our channel, please, can subscribe to us or click on the like button. That would be really helpful. All right, so that's it for this week's JCF Weekly Chat. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.